Hi guys, so today's video is going to be us taking a look at the collection of short stories called Sword of Destiny. This is the second collection of short stories that the Witcher Netflix series is pulling from for their adaptation. They do plan to go on into the Witcher saga after that, but for this first season they're taking things from The Last Wish and Sword of Destiny. Yesterday I went over some things from The Last Wish. It's kind of a recap for those of you that have read the books before, a little refresher if you haven't read the books. It gives you some context for when you want to watch the show. You can go back, compare and contrast after watching the show, and we're going to do the same thing today with Sword of Destiny. Yesterday we left off with episode 5. From there we are getting an episode I never thought they would adapt, but I am so excited that they are doing, and it says, "Rare Species, the hunt for a dragon is underway." The short story that coordinates with this would be The Bounds of Reason, and at this time Geralt, Dandelion, and Yennefer, they have gone their separate ways, but through the hunt for a dragon they find themselves crossing paths once again. I don't know if in the show they're really going to be showing just how difficult Geralt and Yennefer's relationship has been, because at this point they have been separated for quite a long time, and I don't know that the show is going to show that. I'm almost wondering, based off of the episode that is occurring before this, if they are going to show Dandelion, Geralt, and Yennefer all getting to know each other, and then they're going to show them going off on this quest. I personally would be okay with this change because I believe there's like a 4-year gap between the last time Geralt has seen Yennefer and this particular moment. Not 4 years since they met, but 4 years since he's last seen her at present day in the short stories. The timeline is very confusing, but I would be okay with them kind of just transitioning a little bit. This short story is basically just a good time. It's a lot of fun. The dragons are not really what you expect. I'm really excited about the casting that I have seen for this particular short story. There's not much else to say besides there's a quest to find a dragon, and there's also a fantastic dwarf that's going to show up in this. He is cast. I'm just really excited for this one. After that, we have the next episode called Before a Fall, and this particular one's description says a return to before a kingdom is flamed. The place that the character Ciri is from is Sintra. We see it early on in the season and in the short stories when Geralt is with Pavetta and Calanth, but based off of a lot of these episodes, chances are we're going to be getting Ciri's story interspersed throughout these other things, and it's likely that she is going to be getting mostly new material because of the fact that in the short stories you really don't see a ton of Ciri. This particular episode, though, I think has been hinted at quite heavily in the trailers. We constantly are getting this looming threat and the fact that Sintra is likely going to fall. There is a battle in the books that is not actually really shown, but it's referenced, and it's the Battle of Sodom Hill. I think the TV show is going to commit to this. They're showing some battle scenes already, and like I said, those are not in the book. So I think this is going to be made up of a lot of new material based off of references that are in the short stories. I'll add too that I believe, based off of the wording of the description where it says to before, it seems like they're going to be focusing kind of on a flashback type situation with this episode. I think it's going to be a culmination of things. I think we're going to be getting the Battle of Sodom Hill. I think we're also likely to get Geralt meeting Ciri for the first time as a little girl. This short story is called Sword of Destiny, so it's the one the book is based on, and this is where we see Geralt going through the forest that is inhabited by dryads. We know for sure that the dryads are in the show, not just from casting, but also the trailers have made that very obvious. They've also made it very obvious that Ciri is going to be with them. She ends up being out in the forest, having run away at some point, and then Geralt ends up finding her, and with the help of another individual, they save her and they take her to the dryads. It seems like for a while there's a chance that Ciri might be left with them, but that's as far as I'll go with that one. Of course, don't want to give away anything else, but this is the first time that Geralt is kind of confronted with the fact that he doesn't always like to follow through and commit to things. He kind of thinks himself worthless. He doesn't really feel that he is capable of really having very many relationships with other people. So I think this is going to be a great moment for him and Ciri, but also you just kind of seeing Geralt's stubborn resolve, but also thick-headedness. The very last episode is Much More. The description says the Witcher family, as you all like to say, and based off of the word more in this and where the short stories end, this is, I'm sure, going to be the adaptation of Something More. In this particular short story, we see Geralt have an interaction with a man who is just trying to stay safe after all of the war that's been going on, and so Geralt agrees to help him out. And when this happens, the man, just similar to how we had way earlier, says, I'm indebted to you for helping me, and Geralt decides, let's go ahead and do the Law of Surprise. In helping this man, Geralt ends up injured, and now the roles are reversed where this man is helping Geralt. He is seriously wounded and is kind of going through a lot of memories. His mind is a little hazy. He's thinking about a lot of the things that have transpired in the past. We might even get some other flashbacks of events from the short stories that aren't going to be fleshed out completely in individual episodes, but ultimately it's Geralt kind of reflecting on his life. A big thing for Witchers is they are told they are not capable of emotions, and I think this short story is a really good moment for Geralt to realize perhaps he is capable of emotions, and perhaps there are some people in his life that he would really like to hold on to. It's possible that while Geralt is a little bit hazy, that's when we will see some of him meeting Ciri in the Dryad's place, but it's kind of unclear exactly when that one is going to come about in the show. We know it'll be there, but exactly when is a little up in the air. I won't spoil, of course, what ends up happening at the end of this one, but there are some really emotional moments, both sad and also kind of happy at the end of this one, and it leaves you off with something more. It sets you up for the bigger saga. I think it's so great that they're adapting this and they're making this the end of the season, because I think it is the perfect conclusion. The last short story that is likely to play a role in the TV show that didn't get a very obvious, oh, this entire episode is dedicated to this, would be A Shard of Ice. A Shard of Ice is going to have a character in it that Yennefer, the sorceress that is Geralt's love interest, there's a sorcerer that is interested in having a long-term serious relationship with Yennefer, and Yennefer and Geralt have always had a difficult time with their relationship for a number of reasons, some of which are very frustrating, very realistic, and also very tragic. And so Yennefer's kind of caught in the middle between Geralt and this sorcerer, trying to figure out, does she continue a relationship with somebody who doesn't even feel like they're capable of love based off of everything that society tells them, or does she pursue a relationship with somebody who admits how much they love her? It's a very sad story. It's one that I think a lot of people, there's a lot of room for interpretation in this short story for what Yennefer and Geralt's conversations actually mean. But I don't see this being an entire episode. I see this kind of being something that it's going to have more of Yennefer's backstory based off of the earlier episodes I talked about yesterday. So I think the decision for her is going to be a much bigger deal. I think we're going to really feel for her, which is very different from how I think we interpret the short story when we only see it with what Sapkowski has given us. I really truly don't know where they're going to fit this in. They obviously, the sorcerer's name is Istrid. They are obviously having him in it. He's in the trailers. He's cast for multiple episodes. So I think there's going to be kind of a extension of that short story, perhaps sprinkled throughout the show, or maybe it will be within one of the other episodes. Maybe it'll be a flashback. Whatever the case may be, it's looking like at least bits and pieces of that one are going to show up in the adaptation. Anyway, that's it for the short stories from Sword of Destiny that are going to be in the television show. It'll be really cool to see how the things that I'm unsure of right now, how they do play a role in the show, what they change, what they keep the same. I'm of the mindset that adaptations are, of course, going to have to change some things. I think that's especially true with Witcher, given the way the format is in the beginning of the story. But either way, I hope this has been helpful and informative and interesting. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all later. Bye.